part of the island is just getting beat up bad. Like, being a local, he said he's lived there his whole life. He's 63, nothing like that. So
wow.
we just won't know. I remember watching past storms, Michael and others. You don't know what's going on right now until tomorrow, let's say.
Even then, right? Even then, with the infrastructure that's going to get destroyed like this, what I'm worried about also, Mike, is looking at a before and after of the satellite. It's just the deforestation of that.
Jamaica experiences catastrophic weather impacts from Hurricane Melissa, a storm displaying remarkable intensity. This system joins an exclusive category of the most powerful hurricanes ever observed in the Caribbean region. Residents remain unable to evacuate affected zones until the massive ocean water surge withdraws from coastal areas. Numerous dangerous situations develop simultaneously throughout Jamaica during this extraordinary weather event. The circumstances appear almost inconceivable in their severity. Melissa represents one of the most formidable hurricanes ever witnessed within Caribbean territorial waters. The system advances inland at the present. Visual documentation from Treasure Beach, Jamaica, reveals conditions appearing somewhat improved from earlier observations. Footage captures a canine crossing the roadway. The ocean appears visible in the frame. Another individual stands visible near the water. Conditions loosened slightly compared to earlier time frames. When initial observations began, approximately 60 minutes prior, the central core positioned roughly 15 miles distant.
Stripe of the core that's going to go over there, it's going to be a drastically different west side of the island.
Yeah, we've seen that in the past. Yeah. I mean, you're going to see, land scarred. And to see a storm like this with the lightning, this morning, just never lose that warmth. Broke a record, right, for the most intact eye ever. And
right.
It's just the worst case scenario for anybody. And the good news I told people on my little chat this morning, and one thing I learned is
the same canine crossed the roadway moments ago. The situation appears unfortunate. Storm tracking specialist and meteorological blogger discusses the unfolding situation. The afternoon provides an opportunity to examine this significant weather event. More favorable conversation topics would be preferable under different circumstances. This system ranks as among the most powerful hurricanes in recent memory. Besides Wilma, this storm demonstrates greater strength. The system continues its path across Jamaica currently. The development appears remarkable. Observations of this atmospheric disturbance began during the previous week. Discussion centered around a potential development.
Always folks ready to help. I've seen so many people ready to fly in, wanting to help. And I have a feeling that we're going to see a good outpouring of support to Jamaica afterwards.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
So
I agree. We had the Minister of Energy and Transport and Telecommunications on, and he was touting that as well. Our good friends around the Caribbean are going to help, is what he was saying, and I agree. And then one more thing, Mike, when I look at the track itself, it goes through the Bahamas, we know. Bermuda has a kick me sign on it. I mean, here we go again with Bermuda.
Yeah, this still might be 100 mile an hour.
Certain forecast models hinted at the possibility. Now the event unfolds in real time. Questions arise regarding how such development occurred. The storm ranks among the strongest in documented records. Late October timing adds to the remarkable nature. Most observers considered the hurricane season concluded. This represents the most astonishing aspect. Creating the most powerful atmospheric system witnessed this year within Caribbean waters requires optimal conditions aligning perfectly. Ocean thermal energy content remained untapped from previous seasons. Even during the previous year, Helene and Milton failed to develop intensity in southern waters. Several years passed without significant Caribbean hurricane activity.
And you can see this picture looks a little bit better. That was Treasure Beach, Jamaica. Look at the dog running across the road. See that? See, there's a guy out there too. So things are actually loosened up just a bit. When we were first looking at this about an hour ago, the core was about 15 miles away. Just saw a dog run across right there. So that's just, it's sad. Here to chat with us about it, it's Mike Boylan, storm chaser and blogger with many followers. Mike, it's great to see you this afternoon. I appreciate it. Wish we were having a better conversation, but this is the most intense hurricane that I can remember. Besides Wilma, this is stronger though, and it's making its way across Jamaica as we speak.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, we watched this last week. We were talking about it, and
yeah,
some of
the current situation defies comprehension. Atmospheric pressure measurements reached 800 millibars. Recording updates required adjustment to unusual numerical values. Forecasters typically document 900 millibar pressures rather than 800 level readings. Comparisons arise with Tropical Storm Sonia positioned in Pacific waters, showing pressure readings of 1,003 millibars. The strength differential appears incredible when examining pressure measurements. Forecast model analysis reveals interesting performance patterns. Certain intensity prediction models demonstrated remarkable accuracy. These systems forecast pressure values between 880 and 900 millibars, nearly 7 days beforehand. Initial skepticism greeted these predictions. Questions
Models teased it, right? And I don't. You just now you're looking at it happen. It's like, how did this happen? You know, it's one of the strongest on record. In the end of October, right, when everybody thought the season was done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the most amazing thing. So if I was to tell you, all right, Mike, how can you form the most powerful storm that we've seen so far this year and put it in the Caribbean? Everything has to work out perfectly.
Yes, I mean, with that ocean heat content, you know, we've talked about that in the past.
However, previous year performance validated model capabilities. European tracking models consistently provide reliable guidance. Track predictions maintain solid accuracy. The global forecast system performed poorly, projecting paths over Hispaniola. United Kingdom models suggested trajectories across Yucatan Peninsula. Disappointment arose regarding two frequently utilized forecasting systems. The situation created frustration among meteorologists. Model blending provides necessary perspective. Overall track predictions achieved reasonable accuracy. Examining mapping displays evokes sadness.
It was just untapped. Even last year, the Helene and Milton really didn't get going down there. So we really haven't had a real Caribbean storm, in several years. It seems like. So yeah, it's just mind-boggling. That's 800 millibar system.
Yeah.
Even typing updates today, I was typing 982 because you're not used to typing 8. You're used to typing 900.
Right, and I was just remarking about Tropical Storm Sonia that's out in the Pacific with a low pressure of 1,003.
Internet searches of affected regions reveal numerous video recordings showing current conditions. Residents endure experiences matching Category 5 hurricane impacts. Previous destructive aftermath from similar storms provides context for current events. Current devastation unfolds in real time. The situation creates nightmare scenarios for affected populations. The storm crosses the entire island without losing significant intensity. Upon emergence from land, wraparound precipitation bands impact northwestern sections. Many residents currently deal with severe conditions. Should the system continue, slight westward deviation, though timing grows limited, the eye wall could impact additional densely populated zones. Either scenario results in terrible outcomes for affected.
Okay.
Jeez,
This is incredibly strong when you're talking about this. And you like to dive into the models too, Mike. And my question is, which model do you think is prepared better for this one, and which one is performing better right now?
Well, I love the Haas models, Haas A, Haas B. They've been really good with intensity predictions. And they were predicting 880, 890, almost a week ago.
And we were like, really?
Yeah, I remember we talked about it. I got called out on it. I'm like, are you kidding me? But they did really well last year.
Mountain ranges reach elevations approaching 8,000 feet. The Blue Mountains specifically achieve heights around 7,500 feet. Terrain elevation combined with powerful winds creates compounding effects. Cold frontal systems approaching from northern latitudes may provide steering influences. Current projections suggest the storm maintains intensity near 135 miles per hour when reaching Cayman Islands. Should current trends continue, Grand Cayman faces direct impacts. Residents there already completed preparations. Mandatory evacuation orders affected the entire population. Shelters reached capacity. Communication with individuals on the island confirms unprecedented conditions.
It seems like the Euro track is always solid, really good. The GFS was terrible. It was going over Hispaniola, and the UK was like going over the Yucatan. So it's disappointing that two of the top models we used to use, it makes it frustrating. That's why we got to take a blend of models. And overall, I think the track was pretty on point. It's just sad looking at the maps. I was Googling that area and, seeing some of the.
One resident aged 63 years reports experiencing nothing comparable throughout their lifetime residence. Uncertainty remains regarding actual damage extent until the following day. Infrastructure destruction of this magnitude delays damage assessment. Concern exists regarding deforestation patterns. Satellite imagery comparisons before and after the core strike will reveal dramatically altered Western Island sections. Previous storms demonstrated similar land scarring effects. Lightning activity throughout the morning hours maintained consistent presence. The system broke records for most intact eye wall structure ever recorded. This represents
These videos popping, online, and just what folks must be going through, because we know what a Cat 5 is like. I mean, we've seen the destruction afterwards, so what's happening right now, and it's just, it's going to be a nightmare for these folks. And then, like you mentioned, it's going across the island, and it's not going to lose much punch. And when it emerges, we're going to have wraparound bands hitting the northwest side.
Right.
So there's a lot of folks really dealing with this right now.
And if it keeps on jogging to the west,
many individuals prepare to travel to affected regions. Organizations stand ready to deploy aid. Substantial support will likely reach Jamaica following the disaster. Regional allies throughout the Caribbean pledge assistance. Energy, transport, and telecommunications officials confirm neighboring nations prepare aid delivery. The projected track continues through Bahamas territory. Bermuda appears targeted once again. Wind speeds may reach 100 miles per hour. At that location, the island positions on the dangerous side of the storm track.
a little bit more. I mean, it's running out of time to do that, but it's going. The farther west it goes, the less interaction it's going to have with land, at least the inner workings of the core. I mean, that's a bad situation for Cuba. That means it's not going to die down that much.
Yeah, and they did bump that next advisory up to still Cat 4. So it's going to go through the whole island as a Cat 4. And it's a little flatter terrain on that side, so they're getting the rain still on the east side, which is terrible. I saw some flooding videos there. I had a friend of mine that I've met through doing my chats and stuff, and he just messaged me and said he's heard the southwest.
Significant developments obviously dominate attention. However, downstream effects require consideration. Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands face subsequent impacts. Bermuda will encounter conditions next. The entire sequence appears incredible. Tracking began as the disturbance crossed African continental areas. The tropical wave maintained organization over 2-week periods. Current satellite observations appear surreal. The atmospheric wave maintained cohesion throughout the main development region. Development occurred only upon reaching untapped Caribbean waters. Observation monitoring will continue for another 4 to 5 days before the system finally dissipates across northern Atlantic waters. Elevation wind patterns merit specific attention. Similar phenomena occurred with Helene. Aerial observations of Appalachian regions after Helene revealed extensive tree damage. Surface level winds remained modest, while upper elevation winds caused devastation. Similar conditions will impact Jamaica currently. Curiosity exists regarding whether elevated terrain experiences worse damage than surface predictions suggest. Even areas not receiving direct hurricane-force winds may suffer from upper atmosphere wind patterns. Land scarring from fallen trees will remain visible for at least 10 years. This topic warrants future discussion and analysis.